From October 3rd to the 5th, 2024, 12th CMS VATAVARAN International Film Festival and Forum on Environment and Wildlife is being organized at the Indira Paryavaran Bhavan, New Delhi. We now bring to you an interaction with Dr. P.N. Vasanti, Director General, Center for Media Studies and Festival Director of this film festival. Our interviewer is Kaushik Roy.
In the studios, we are privileged to have with us the Director General of the Center for Media Studies, Dr. P.N. Vasanti. And thank you, ma'am, for joining us in the studios today. The 12th Center for Media Studies VATAVARAN International Film Festival and Forum on Environment and Wildlife on the theme of Wetlands for Life is going to be held in New Delhi from the 3rd to 5th of October at the Ganga Auditorium, Indira Paryavaran Bhavan, New Delhi. This festival has been organized by the Center for Media Studies in collaboration with NMNH, GIZ, WWF and has logo support of the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change and IUCN and CEC. Ma'am, can you tell us about the 12th CMS VATAVARAN International Film Festival?
Thank you for having me here. I'm privileged that Doordarshan and All India Radio are a partner or have been partners with us since our beginning, our inception in 2001. The first festival we did was in 2002, and since then we are here now in 2004 with the 12th edition of this. When we say 12th edition, it's the 12th competitive edition. In the year in between, we travel with the films that we have shortlisted. The competition only happens once every 2 years and it's an international competition. For example, in the 12th edition of this festival, which is being held day after, is going to be on Wetlands for Life. That's one of the theme, but we have 8 categories of films like water, sustainable technologies, conservation, wildlife, student films, amateur films, and we call films from all over the world. Every year almost since we started, we are getting 70 odd countries from all over the world send their films exclusively on environment. Remember, in Asia this is the largest festival which exclusively is on wildlife environment. So we use the power of a film to start a dialogue, to create a discourse, to start discussion on our issues to do with environment. So we don't go into the politics of it. We go into what can I as an individual, as a professional or as a human being contribute to ensure the nature that is abound all around us. We live in a world that is sustainable.
Absolutely.
I'm sure you all know the Mission Life. Mission Life is all about that and sustainable living. And when we say Wetlands for Life, we're also looking at how can wetlands help us make a sustainable contribution. When we talk about climate change, biodiversity loss or pollution, the role wetlands has is immense. So how can we make people more conscious, tell them about how important wetlands are and help them be revived so that they can make a better, sustainable, adaptive, resilient future that we need in this context.
Yes, and I think it is very timely also because it is a month away from the COP29 that is going to be held in Azerbaijan this time. Dr. Vasanti, can you tell us the number of films that will be, exhibited this time? And also, can you share your views on this Forum on Environment and Wildlife, the exhibition that you'll also be having?
So every year, as I mentioned, it's an international, every alternate year we have in the competition we open up. This year we got 800 plus entries and half of them were international and half of them were national. In India itself, from 2021 states, we've been getting these films, mostly focused of course on the metro cities like Delhi, Bombay and Calcutta and Pune and Bangalore obviously dominate a little bit more, but we do get a lot of films from all over. So it is a 3-tier process of shortlisting films that we showcase. So from the 800, we shortlisted 60, which were the nominated films. In our directory, in our website, you will see all the details of each and every film that was nominated. Nomination itself is a big achievement because it means that it's certain criteria. The criteria has to be not only that it's scientifically right and correct message, but it has to also be appealing to everybody to watch it. From these, this was the second jury that looked at it, and out of these 60 films was shortlisted again few films for the award jury to decide who to give an award. So in the 3-day festival that we are having at the ministry this time at Ganga Auditorium in the Paryavaran Bhavan, we will be showing all the nominated films and little more wetland films that GIZ has made, but also we will have an award ceremony where all the awards, and this time we are giving 14 awards, mostly 8 in national and 6 in international, in different categories, awards to the best of the best.
Okay.
in different categories.
Okay.
And this will be done on the 5th of October at, again, Ganga Auditorium.
Right. So the categories, you mean they would be on different categories, wetlands, or like in films we have for direction,
No.
for technical?
Because this is a very unique festival,
Right.
we don't have more on technical skills. We have more on the subject matter.
Okay.
So we have one on sustainable technologies.
Right.
We have one on climate change.
Right.
We have one on water. We have one on conservation. We have one on wildlife. We have one on animation. We have one on students and amateurs. So we have different categories.
wonderful.
And then out of that we shortlist. And
Right.
obviously these criteria of looking at direction, sound, technique
Yes.
is also looked at. In the nomination jury, we ensure that the scientists and experts are there,
Right.
but also communicators and filmmakers are
Yes.
there who can then talk about the technique and the overall appeal of that. In fact, I was sharing our interest is also to have younger people connect with these films. So we make sure that in the jury, when they make the final selection, there are young people also
Right.
who are interested and passionate about films,
Right.
who come and say, okay, no, this is really boring. No, this is interesting. We should keep that. So whoever comes to Vatavaran, and right now we are in our archive, we have more than 3,000 films exclusively
wonderful.
on environment and wildlife. You can access all of these by just simply writing to us or going to our website, cmsvatavaran.org, and in the archives, see all the films that we have and ask or use films for education purposes.
Right. Coming to this very interesting aspect, education, and you mentioned youngsters also. So this film festival is absolutely free, and how do enthusiasts or students or young persons, visit this film festival? Because it's going to take place in a very high security premises. It's a Government of India building. So if you can share some light on that.
Certainly, all our festivals are free and all our material is free. So,
Right.
the website obviously gives you everything, but please go to the website and register yourself.
Okay.
You are very right, because it's first time happening in the ministry. It's a high security zone. So, for that, you need to register at least 24 hours in advance. So please do register at the earliest. And once you've registered online, when you come to the venue, please carry your photo ID, because that's very important to show at the security purposes. So, if you do these two, you can come, you can enjoy the exhibition. We are putting up an exhibition of the paintings done by young people in all over India. And not only that, we will have a series of interesting discussions with filmmakers and experts to talk about. The forum is exactly that. The forum is to talk about the issue. This time the issue is wetlands for life. So we have wetland experts from WWF, Wetland International, GIZ, NDTV, IUCN, who are coming together talking about why is the issue of wetlands not so popular, and what can we all do to ensure that we are all concerned about it and ensure that we take care of it and make them more resilient, especially gender. How is gender interrelated with wetlands, and what can women do? I think Prime Minister spoke in Mann Ki Baat this Sunday only about the power of Nari Shakti and Jal Shakti. Yes, that's exactly the theme. It was quite interesting that he spoke about it just when this we are doing. So yes, it's interconnected. And how is it interconnected? And what can each person in their own profession and in their own way of work, living, contribute? That's the whole aim of this festival.
Right. And you mentioned that you have now about 60 films will be exhibited. So is there also a time frame, like when we talk of a film festival in which we have had that it will be from morning this time to evening this time?
So yes, 3rd, 4th and 5th, 10 o'clock morning to 5 o'clock in the evening, the festival will go on, and you can come anytime, but just that you have to register beforehand and bring your ID and come and watch any films. The schedule is up on the website. They can see and they can select which slot interests them, which discussion interests them, and come and watch that. So cmsvatavaran.org is the website. Anybody can go and register and see all the details there.
And you also mentioned about the awards, because this year you said that it's a competition year. So you mentioned about 14 or 16 awards.
14 awards.
For Indians and some for the foreigners. So that award event will also take place on the 5th, and are the general public allowed for that also?
Yes. The 5th, there is a award ceremony from 3 to 5 in the afternoon. And yes, it is open to public, but again, you have to register for it and come, because there's limited seating there. And yes, it is open, and both the national and the international awards are given. The international does not have cash, but the national one also has a cash component for each of the awards. We are giving 8 national and 6 international awards, and they have been announced, but it's not known in the public. Only the filmmaker knows. So at the venue, we will announce and we will declare the winners, and we will also show clips of all the films that have been nominated and the award-winning film, and the filmmaker will will be given the awards by the dignitaries present for the award ceremony.
Ma'am, thank you so much for joining us in the studios today and sharing so much information about the 12th CMS VATAVARAN International Film Festival and Forum on Environment and Wildlife exhibition that is going to take place from the 3rd to the 5th of October at the Ganga Auditorium in Paryavaran Bhavan, New Delhi. And as the Director General, Center for Media Studies, Dr. P.N. Vasanti mentioned, dear listeners, do kindly register on cmsvatavaran.org and do not forget to carry your photo ID card like Aadhaar or PAN, something like that, because it's going to be held in a government building and this is required for security purposes. Ma'am, thank you once again for joining us in the studios and sharing so much valuable information.
Thank you for doing this, and thank you for partnering with us in this important, unique green movement that we call CMS VATAVARAN.
You were listening to an interview with Dr. P.N. Vasanti, Director General, Center for Media Studies and Festival Director of the Film Festival. Interviewer was Kaushik Roy. This broadcast came to you from the Indraprasth channel of Akashvani, Delhi.